What's up, guys? Welcome to more rubric. This time we're trying something different here. You're not gonna see our faces.
A little new.
A little new. Just this is gonna be actually a podcast. It's not gonna be a video cast.
Audio
But
only. We're saving on your bandwidth here.
yeah, it's like because we hear that a lot of people hate to see our faces. So there are a lot of haters out there that like dislike every video that we do. We would like to thank you for that. Keep hating. We really appreciate the hate. So this time we're not gonna show our faces. We're gonna try a little bit of a Slipknot. Just do stuff without showing our faces. So we have Eki in the house. Jean Paul Ek is
How's it
here with
going?
us. Ryan is here,
Yes.
and of course me, Juan. And we're gonna give you some thoughts about what's gonna take place on Wednesday, September 18th. NXT, the real wrestling brand on the WWE, is going to debut on the USA Network. So we're going to have a few thoughts and what do we think about the matches and what needs to be projected, what message needs to be sent if there is a war with AEW. So Ryan, start us off. What do you think about the move from NXT to the USA Network? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Yes, no, and why?
I'm not a fan of it. I think that's really the only thing that was going for WWE when it comes to the WWE network per se. If they had subscribers, NXT was the one thing that really people look forward to. So moving it to USA was to me not a great idea. So I'm a little pissed off about it. Now, if you're gonna do it, now I obviously think they did it simply because of AEW. I know how Vince McMahon's mind works. So now, competition-wise, I think it's going to be tough. But if anybody can do it, I know Triple H can. The way NXT is, it's a very good brand. So as long as they continue to do what they do now on the actual WWE network, I think they'll be able to compete somewhat, but it's going to be very difficult because they're doing 1 hour. They're moving from 1 hour to 2 hours. But remind me, are they doing 1 hour on USA Network?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
They're,
Yes.
they're moving. Then they're moving
Yes.
to back to the network. Then.
Yes, it's the
Yeah,
first
the
hour,
first. Yeah, go ahead, Juan.
and then the next hour is gonna be on the network.
See,
But
so
that's only temporary. Eventually, it's going to be all two
Yes,
hours
in
on the USA Network.
in October. Wonder why they're doing it in October. That's
Hmm.
when they're gonna go in 2 hours.
yeah, let's wonder why that's happening.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
go ahead.
I think that's going to be an issue. I don't think eventually when AEW does come on in October, I think they're going to have a tough time. Everybody's looking forward to that who's a wrestling fan. So
I think. Or go ahead, finish your thought. But I have something to say about AEW then.
Well, finish it, right, and then
I think everybody's looking forward to it, and I think that that's truly going to be what people are like trying to tune into at that time.
yeah. All right, Eki. Your
So
thoughts.
the whole thing, I'm not worried about NXT at all. I think if they're moving it to 2 hours, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be taking away all their main event talent to be killed on the main roster. It seems like these guys are going to stay there. I see Johnny Gargano staying there for a while. Shayna Baszler, I don't think she's being moved up anytime soon, especially with them now going head to head with AEW. So I think all these main event guys in NXT are there to stay. They're adding, supposedly, rumor, all the 205 Live guys. That's a whole crop of real talented guys coming down there. They're signing more people to NXT, bringing new people in from the Performance Center. I think NXT will be okay because the more people you add, even though you're adding an extra hour, you can then showcase these guys that we know are talented from 205 Live. And you don't have to overexpose your Adam Coles, your Velveteen Dreams, you don't have to make those guys like the next Roman Reigns where, oh, we see them for 45 minutes every single Wednesday. We're sick of them. I don't think that will be an issue if Triple H and his team is still in charge of the booking. Now, if Vince gets his fingers in it, then any idea you might have had is out the window.
I agree with
I
you.
agree with you. I read a report that Triple H himself said Vince will not be in control of this. I'm still the guy in charge. I'm still the one making the calling the shots, making
Yeah.
all the decisions.
And
To me, yeah, go ahead. Finish the thought.
For the AEW hype, I heard this, and this was actually a pretty good thought. AEW, all these pay-per-views, the fans are going crazy. It's like if you would go by fan response, you would think that this is the best wrestling that they've ever seen in the history of the sport. And it's only I'm going to say that it's only because these are fans that have 100% invested in AEW. They chose a side. Not every single one of them, but a lot of them went their whole thing is black and white. You're either AEW or you're WWE. So they would cheer AEW if the gobbledygooker came out. You know what I mean? Because it's not I'm not saying that that's every fan, and I'm not trying to be a WWE shill or supporter and whatnot, because I do like AEW, but people need to look at it differently, I think. AEW event, the hype is going to slow down. Will they still be putting on better product than WWE 99 times out of 100? Yes. But the hype that everything they do is so good, or every match on these all out and everything is a 5-star classic, and oh, this is the best ever. I think that that hype will eventually slow down when you start going to like they go to Pittsburgh or they go to New York or they go to Kentucky or Kansas City, because you're not going to have all these diehard fans that are going to every single big show, all out, all in. These people aren't going to travel to every single live television event. So then you're going to be get the more neutral crowds who might not cheer everything because they're like, well, we don't know these guys. Like, but at the big shows, they're cheering them just because it's AEW. Did everybody know who Orange Cassidy was? No, but when he came out, there was a huge pop. Why? I
It
wasn't popped for him. It's because it's AEW, and they're like, "Oh, look at this guy."
it is
That's
true.
what I'm saying. Like the gobbledygooker could have came out and they would have popped
I, it,
because it,
I think that like to me making it 2 hours and moving it to the USA Network is just more to give it even like more exposure, because to me I know there's a lot of people that love WWE, but like they don't watch NXT. Like for them WWE is SmackDown, Raw, and the main roster, and that's it. And this
which is
uh,
sad.
yeah, this happened to me when I went to Ecuador. I'm like, how you guys watch NXT? What is that? Well, you know who Johnny Gargano is, Adam Cole. They didn't know who they were. So to me, is a way to expose the best brand. And I
Yeah,
mean, if
but
there you have to compete. There's going to be
yeah,
competition
but
between the two of
that's
them.
my whole point of that, like kind of attacking AEW's fans a little bit. My whole point with that is I think that they're worried about there being a war, but I don't think there's really going to be a war, because I think the AEW hype will still be there, but I think it'll slow down. WWE is not losing really that many fans. If anything, the fans are just going to be watching AEW as well. So I don't know. I don't think that there's going to be a war like it was in the late 90s.
No,
I
I,
don't think
I
it's
I
going to
agree.
be anything like that.
I don't. I agree with you. I don't think
I
for as
think
much
the only one who
people
wants a war is
that
Cody Rhodes, but
get
he
it.
has some secret agenda.
What's that?
I said I think the only one who wants a war is Cody Rhodes, but he has some secret agenda, I feel. He has some animosity or something.
I would agree with you there because the way he made the statement, what was that, Double or Nothing, where he like smashed the throne or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
that bothered me because I'm like Triple H. If Triple H, he can make NXT better than AEW. He can make if Triple H was in charge of the main roster, AEW would get blown up.
I,
Don't.
see, Eki, in that one, I will say that like I don't agree completely, just because also like for me, is this is like the best time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh,
Because you're
absolutely.
gonna actually see, for example, like you're gonna have AEW to choose from. You have New Japan, you have WWE, you have Impact. Now Impact is gonna be broadcasted on Access TV or whatever AXC, whatever it is,
Oh, that access or
Access
whatever that
TV.
is,
Yeah,
or
so they're
yeah,
gonna
whatever
have
that is.
finally a major network showcasing their product. So to me, you can pick whatever style you like, and you will have some kind of a, if you like WWE you go WWE, you like AEW you go AEW. So I feel that like it's the best time for you, because before you only had one option, and that was WWE. And I know you what you say. Cody might have a secret agenda, but to me there is going to be war. because the only reason that they're putting NXT on Wednesdays is because of AEW.
But
If
who was in charge of that? I'm sure that was a Vince McMahon thing. Triple H probably would have stayed. Well,
he would
where
have
no,
stayed in the network, yeah, but I mean, I feel
well
that it's
then
just because
AEW they chose Wednesday, right?
yeah, they chose Wednesday, yes,
Yeah,
because
so they're the ones who are. That's what I mean. They're the ones
they
who are.
didn't want to compete. They didn't want a war per se. They're choosing a night that, like, for example, like I said, not a lot of people watch NXT. And for example, I know there's reports that even Tony Storm and Pete Dunne are going to be members of the NXT brand now. They're not going to
Yeah,
be NXT UK anymore.
Mm.
So you see that, like, if you're bringing your best talent, if you're bringing the best you have, what is your reasoning behind that? Because you're going to compete against AEW.
yeah. I'm not. Yeah, They're not stupid. They might WWE might not have wanted the war, but they're not going to roll over on their backs, especially Triple H and NXT.
Oh
He's going to.
yeah,
That's what I said. He's the wrong person to pick up to be like, oh, we're going to start a war with you.
and like I said, like
I
WWE will
feel.
not go out of business in my eyes. It will
Oh
not go out
no,
of
never.
business. But I mean, like the only reason that I support these kind of things is because the product will be better. Even Raw
You
and
hope.
SmackDown are
Hope.
gonna be better. Just because they finally have a market that can compete against them and say, look, what you do is garbage. Here's what we do. More people will tune into us, and you know what? It's gonna be better. What do you think, Ryan? In the whole thing.
I would agree. I would agree because, like you said, at least we have options. We're open to something different to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like NXT. NXT is obviously the best thing to watch on WWE. Um, the thing is, you know, now you have to go back and forth on Wednesdays to go NXT, AEW, NXT, AEW. You're going to be channel flipping, to see what's going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the
And
only.
also, here's a little quick thing I just thought of. AEW is kind of smart also for picking Wednesday because there's no way to watch AEW one besides on TV. But
Yeah.
NXT is going to be on the network. So NXT, nobody, if you want to watch both, you're going to watch AEW live and then you're going
Yes.
to watch NXT later because it's on the
Yes.
network.
Yeah.
So they're
Exactly.
going to lose the immediate viewership.
Yes.
WWE. That's pretty much guaranteed
And
that
and,
the
and that
immediate
that's what I
viewership they're going to lose.
that's what I mean. And for example, now because
At
for
least
example,
for the overlap, because I don't think they're the exact same time slot. I think AEW starts an hour later. That I might be wrong about.
I think it's 8 o'clock. I think both of them are at the same time. But for
Oh, are
example,
they? Okay.
you know this before when WCW and WWE went to war. Not many people had VHS. They didn't have any devices to tape the one and go for the other. So you
Yeah,
had
it
to,
was.
like,
Yeah, you had
you
to
know
choose.
yeah, you had to choose. You had to go to one and not the other. So now, for example, a lot of people have the DVR recorded, whatever. So if you want to watch NXT the one week, you record AW and you can flip it over. Go vice versa. So
Yeah,
there's many ways, but to me, the focus should be, hey, our talent we're getting the best of our talent to go against some kind of this group of guys that actually are showing that wrestling can still be meaningful and keep it as wrestling.
yeah,
Because see,
exactly.
WWE is giving you a formula that they think that's what, like, we should watch, but AEW is saying, you know what, we can still remain wrestling and still make it interesting and still make it current.
Yeah,
Instead and not stay in the attitude era, because a lot of people, like, stop being fans when the attitude era died. You know.
and if I'm gonna just say a little comment on that, like I said, I have a lot of opinions that people probably don't like in the wrestling landscape. The Attitude Era was good, but it was also a lot of overhype. If you look at like just from straight match, there was a lot of better matches outside of the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era just had a lot of the best characters.
And then I gotta go with that with Ryan, because Ryan is like the Bible of wrestling. So Ryan, you ask him something, he'll remember every little detail of it. So here you go. Tell us, Ryan, knowledge man, your thoughts on that attitude era. Will you agree to that, or will you say, hey?
I would absolutely agree. When it comes to when you think of the Attitude Era, you don't think of wrestling. You think of moments.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Raw,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to SmackDown, and when it comes to characters.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think of actual wrestling because when it comes down to it, there wasn't a lot of good wrestling.
A lot of the good wrestling started when you got like the Benoits and the Eddies, and Kurt
Yeah,
Angle really came into his own. That's when it really started to be like, oh man,
That's
these
when the
look at these
match is
guys
actually
go.
yeah,
exactly.
that's when the match, and when you will be like, my God, that was a great match.
Yeah,
But
and
on that time, I will say that it was the rivalry, it was the story behind, not the match itself.
Yes.
oh yeah,
You
that's
know
what I
the
mean.
story, like for example, Brad and Sean. These two guys hate each other. They freaking hate each other. They will not, the one will not do anything for the
Yeah,
other.
the real life heat definitely helped that.
Of course, but I'm
No
saying,
doubt.
Uh,
that's the point that I'm trying to make is
yeah,
that the hatred between both men is what made the feud great. The wrestling, of course, with both of them, out of anybody in the roster, those two were the best wrestlers.
hmm.
But without the feud on its own, would you be talking about the matches still?
Oh no.
Probably not, because it was the hate between those two. Oh, he doesn't want to drop the belt. Oh, he doesn't, he hates me. Oh, he's always causing chaos when backstage and all of that. So because of the hatred is what happened and made this thing better. Made the Attitude Era, like you said, characters. I will agree with that. Without the New Age Outlaws, without the Triple H that we had at that time, without Stone Cold, without Mankind,
Yeah,
without The
yeah, The
Rock,
Rock under
without
yeah,
D'Lo Brown,
Oh,
without Ken Shamrock,
yeah.
without the Big Boss Man,
Godfather.
Godfather, yeah, the host. We will not be talking about, because see, the Attitude Era was a great show of its own. Every single segment counted. Because if you wanted to laugh, you had The Godfather, you got The Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry, the New Age Outlaws, Socket. They gave you like phrases and everything. But like matches, for example, like what we should do, and we can actually compromise on this, guys, for an episode of Road Break in the near future, the best matches in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with doing the
So
top
that
10
give us some
matches in every
homework to do.
era. We can do like the golden era, new
A little bit of homework
generation.
for Ryan because Ryan remembers every single detail about every
Yeah.
single
Well, it
match.
won't be homework for him because he already
Yeah,
knows. It'll be homework for us,
yeah.
I
at least for
guarantee
me.
most of I guarantee most of them would involve no DQ, something like that.
Or like blood or like, yeah,
Yeah.
extreme moments.
Yes. Most of
Hmm.
them would have to have a no DQ stipulation.
Yes, but like again, so moving along, just to like give those thoughts. For example, okay, we're gonna just mention this very fast. What are your thoughts about Roderick Strong, Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship? Eki, does
Mm,
Velveteen retain or Roderick Strong becomes champion?
I mean, that's tough. To me, I guess it's all what direction they want to take. Like, if Velveteen Dream loses, where does he go? Like, does he try to work his way, challenge Adam Cole?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, if there was no AEW, I would say he loses and gets called up to the main roster.
yes,
But
but you
because now
need
there's
the Velveteen
AEW,
Dream.
and now that throws a whole different, question into the mix. Because do
Exactly.
you keep him for the ratings on NXT because he's so over? That's what I mean. You might have if I'm booking it, Velveteen Dream wins and Roderick Strong turns on them and he goes after Cole. How I would
That
book
would
it.
be nice. That would be nice to watch. So yeah,
But then
I will agree to that.
that
Ryan,
was my plan, and then Kevin Owens is now supposed to be coming,
yeah,
but we'll save that for later.
we'll save that for a little bit later.
Yeah.
Ryan, your thoughts on that?
I would agree exactly with him.
Yeah.
I would agree because right now, I mean, I can't see him losing the title, and I can't see him going to the main roster. And
Mhm.
you can't exchange any superstars right now because of them
AEW,
moving. Yeah, you
AEW.
can't.
Like you,
You
either
can't.
you want it or not, the AEW effect. Like you know, we will not mention any other podcaster or anything, but it's the any AEW effect. So it is true. It is true, and I feel that like yeah, the Velveteen Dream will retain, or rather Strong will win, and then the Undisputed Era will become even a better thing or a bigger thing than what they are now because now everybody will have gold.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the only one with no goal is Roderick Strong.
But
But
see,
not only
I
that,
like that
because if
because
you,
then
yeah, that detail,
yeah.
he doesn't have goals. So let's say he loses to Velveteen Dream, he'll go after the other person that has goal, and that happens to be Adam Cole.
But I feel like they should have it where like the undisputed era is out partying and they all holding their belts and they're all like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you just see Roderick Strong and you can just see the look on his face. and they should be like not rubbing it in, but kind of rubbing it in, and there should be some dissension. Build that over a couple weeks.
There you go. Go right ahead, Ryan.
Well, remind me, Strong has never held a title in NXT,
No.
No.
correct? Now, he joined them to become something, correct?
Yes.
Well,
And
he
he still,
was he a tag team
Well,
with them?
he
Yeah.
was tag team with
Yeah, but
them,
no
but not
singles. Yeah, yeah,
never
yeah.
singles.
okay. So to me, like, since he still hasn't really accomplished much with them, I feel, yes, breaking apart from them and doing something like that would be something great. Because he had a hell of a match with Bobby Roode
Yes.
for the NXT Championship.
Yes.
He is a hell of a wrestler.
Oh yeah.
To see him break away and go after the gold would be badass.
It's a great, yeah, it's a great way
And
to.
unfortunately, NXT is the only, unless the main roster, unless they change their mindset, NXT is the only place he's going to win the
And
championship.
I can
Unfortunately.
see and I can foresee them doing that because of AEW again. They will change their ways a little bit. So that to me
Yeah.
is the benefit from all this situation.
Oh
Now
yeah.
to mention very quick the Fatal Four Way: Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and
She,
who else is the number four on that for the number one contender for the women?
is it Rhea Ripley? Who's in that? I don't
Because it's a
remember.
Fatal Four Way.
Or is it Shayna? Is she in it? Is it for the
No,
title?
no,
Is number
no,
one contender?
no. Is I think is Nia Ripley. I think so.
Okay.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, yes. I think that's her. Who wins that? Give us your thoughts, Eki, because Ryan is double checking the information here.
Okay, yeah, yeah. If it's the four of them, man, I don't. I almost think Candice is going to get the title because I like to long term book. I've said this in the past. Candice is going to win the title, but to me, I'd almost want to see her win it from Io.
Oh yeah,
So I think
that,
Io should pin Candice here and then win the title. And then I don't know, however you want to book it. Maybe the title match is in a few weeks. She wins it, she holds it for a little bit, and then she can drop it to Candice. Because
oh,
then you can have Rhea beat Candice, do kind of like a Sami Zayn thing. Have her hold it for a week or two. This big bruising heel because she's way bigger and more opposing looking than Candice. Beats up Candice, gets a title match, wins, and then boom, she has all this heat because everyone loves Candice.
I
So
actually I actually gonna go with what Ryan predicted when we did a review for NXT Toronto. Candice LeRae will be the number one contender, and she's gonna go against Shayna because you need a super mega baby face.
yeah,
And Johnny Gargano's wife, what is she? A super mega
yeah.
baby.
But does she win it?
She will win it.
You think she wins it already?
Maybe she will win it, but then well, now war games are coming.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's what I mean. That's the whole thing about fantasy
Yeah, it
booking.
is
We
kind
can
of rough
all,
to say.
yeah,
It is kind of rough. Yeah. So Ryan, your thoughts on that?
I think what, at least in my opinion, what they should do is they should probably wait. Um, Book somebody else. I mean, I would love to see Candice win and go against her, but I don't think she should win the title yet.
yeah.
Uh,
That's what I mean. Then you waste that match unless I
uh,
don't know.
for me, what it should be is to me it should be like a multi-woman match right now. If to me, if Baszler ever loses this title, it should be in a multi-woman match. In
You want her
my
to look
So she
strong.
doesn't get pinned.
So she doesn't get pinned,
So she doesn't get
pinned or submit. That way, she looks extremely strong going out. But whoever wins that, needs to be, an incredibly strong babyface.
Yeah, then it should be Candice because
So,
Io unfortunately is heel now.
so to me,
Yeah,
um,
I was just going for because of the whole storyline.
Oh yeah,
There's no real storyline between Candice and Shayna. I mean,
yeah.
it's a good match. You have the underdog baby face against the monster heel, but
but yeah, like I don't know if that match is ready right now.
But I mean, to
yeah,
me, you could start writing it out and be like, you're just like your husband. You're just all an underdog. You're just hype. You could be Candice takeover, but at the end of the day, what's the result? You always lose. You
You
can
could also
always, I can even start writing it down. Start helping me out, guys. Give me paper.
i-
I
if
can have the
if
whole feud.
if I'm
So
going to tell you how I could see it going down is Rhea pins Bianca and Rhea wins, and you have Io and Candice. They could be brawling on the outside, not even seeing that Rhea is going to pin Candice or Bianca in the middle of the ring, and then you continue their feud. Rhea loses to Shayna, and then you could have Candice beat Io in their feud, and then Candice could win.
well,
Because I
that,
don't,
that 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 could be a good idea too. So there's many ways, but like to
yeah,
me, I pick Candice. Ryan, who
I'm
do you pick?
No, go ahead.
Oh well, go ahead, Keith.
I was gonna go. I'm probably gonna go with Rhea,
And you
unless you're going to do Rhea or Io.
and
But
you.
if I had to pick one, Rhea.
I think I'm going with I. You know what? This one's tough because depending how you want to book this. Right now, I like the heel turn with Theo.
Yeah.
Um, but again, there's no real story there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna go with Rhea. I think too.
With Ray. Okay. So yeah, well we have that, and we're gonna conclude this review with very brief thoughts on Sami Zayn. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm completely out of words here. Kevin Owens and Cesaro going back to NXT. Sarah, is that right? You think that's a good move for them, and also to boost the brand?
You said Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens and Cesaro. Rumors that they're going to be heading back to
Yeah,
NXT.
Kevin Owens, he tweeted out numbers, like three numbers, and then the numbers, if you do like number one is A, two is B, the numbers he tweeted out were NXT.
Huh.
So people, because once he got, because Shane McMahon fired him,
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah.
So then
Story.
it's like, oh, where's he gonna go? He could
Yeah.
show up,
There's a lot of rumors that he's going to be heading back to NXT and Cesaro just to
and
boost
that's
the brand.
what with him. That's what I was saying earlier. I'd love to see Kevin Owens somehow work his way and be NXT champion again, beat Adam Cole. That would be a match. You didn't give it to Johnny, unless they're going to do something with Roddy. I think it's got to be Kevin Owens. I don't know who else there is.
Yeah. The Stunner to Adam Cole and done.
Now, I don't want to see like, oh, anyone from the main roster can just hop down and win the championship. I don't want that. But I don't know. Kevin Owens deserves it. He's a good worker. He's not just like a guy who shows up and wins championships. He deserves it.
See, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that okay,
They're going to put down everybody in the
right?
NXT
This guy made it to the main roster. He can just come back to NXT and win the
and
title.
win the title. So I mean,
I mean,
Or even if he
Cesaro.
comes down and he feuds with Roddy and he puts Roddy over, I don't
maybe
know.
there's some
There's a
outcomes
whole
that
bunch of
you,
possibilities.
you can.
You can do a lot. Cesaro, I'm all for. I'm all for Cesaro
Yeah,
because this
NXT
guy
UK, you're
is
talking,
so
right?
underutilized.
Go ahead, right? Yeah.
That guy is underutilized. Like I've never seen anybody. Same thing with like McIntyre. I would do McIntyre down there. There's so many people on the main roster I would put in NXT because you don't use them,
Yeah. Or you don't use them right.
right?
When you do, you don't use them right. So yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I
Could
feel
you
that. Yeah, go ahead, Aki.
could you imagine? I would pay money to see this match live. Good money. Walter versus Cesaro or Walter versus McIntyre. Take my
Hell,
money. Take
Oh
my
hell
money.
yeah!
hell yeah.
That would be the main event for that could be a WrestleMania caliber match.
Yeah, and now Tyler Bate, that match was amazing. That match was the best match the whole weekend. AEW, WWE, that was the best match the whole weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
imagine McIntyre and those two guys, like
that's what I'm saying.
you
Whew.
said in the review. I remember you said it has to be a credible guy. It has to be a
Yeah,
guy that you can say, you know what, this guy can beat
and
Walter.
that was nothing against Tyler Bate because he'd slap me around like a freaking punching bag. But
Yeah,
Walter is a giant, massive, and I feel like that would hurt Walter a little bit. But like someone like McIntyre, man, that would be a good match.
oh yeah, it
And
will
that
be
would
a
be a believable person for him to drop the title to.
yes. So
Especially since
well,
you took Pete Dunne out.
yeah, I feel that it will be a great match, and that's what they should do. Start exchanging guys,
But
give them other
Cesaro,
opportunities. Yes,
that
Cesaro.
would be cool if Cesaro shows up and maybe doesn't even wrestle right away. He could kind of be like, because that Dragonoff is new. They had this match and blah, blah, blah. Maybe he could kind of be like a manager a little bit, but also rough it up with guys. And, you could work Cesaro in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, there's so
down
many ways that like you
because
actually
like how we said earlier with Kevin Owens, you don't want to put Cesaro in NXT UK or McIntyre, and it's like, oh, you're the champion.
like
You
right
don't want
away.
to, yeah,
Right,
you
right.
don't want to do that. So there's definitely ways you could work those guys in. I mean, I think they should have all the guys float around. Hell, have Finn Balor down there for a week or two. That doesn't have to be your permanent home, and people shouldn't view it as, oh, you went down to NXT. There's no moving down. It's left or right.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all on an even plane.
See that's a great point. And for example, like
I
have
mean, if
the
you're,
NXT championship defended on regular pay-per-views. And
yeah,
for example, like have like some regular for the IC belt, like the United States Championship defended on the takeover. That would be nice. Exchange, make it like a three branded thing.
yeah, and then even if it's like, oh, well, this guy from SmackDown's not going to lose his title to an NXT guy. What if it's like, oh, we're going to call this guy up, or whatever, and then he does drop it, and then the crowd's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
there's,
that's a way for you to build momentum and
yeah,
do shocking things, and people will be like, "Oh my God, finally they're doing different things." Because why do people get disgruntled with this product? Is because the outcomes are the ones we already predict.
mm-hmm,
We know what's gonna happen, and that's why
yeah.
we hate it.
Why watch
Just
if you know
change it,
what's going to go down?
right, Ryan?
Well, I definitely know this would all be nice, but I know with the wild card rule going to be done
Yeah,
soon?
it's done.
Supposedly, it's gonna be done when they do the move to
Yeah,
Fox.
it's
Yeah,
not
So
like Taker after Mania 33. It's actually done.
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
But to me, then what they need to do is they need to sit down. They need to cut back on pay per views throughout the year. Have shorter. I don't think they need to have as many pay per views as they do. If I don't know. To me, that's what they need to do. They have far too many pay per views. Go
Yeah,
back to split brand. So many for SmackDown, so many for Raw, and then you have your NXT pay per views, stuff like that. Like I think that would be fine, but
yeah.
uh,
There's a perfect way to do that. When the main roster is not having a pay per view, that's when you do a takeover for the NXT UK brand.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so
Then there's
many ways that you.
still, yeah, there's, you don't need like four pay per views every month
Yeah. Oh
between
yeah. There's
NXT and AEW, and
there are ways.
that's too much to
It
watch.
is too much, and it's too much to cover. We're gonna be.
it gets crazy.
It gets crazy. Well, it never ends. So yeah, I think this concludes this talk. We're gonna be hoping that NXT is still legit.
Oh,
Just like
that's,
there's a lot
yeah,
of fear. Any
close,
closing thoughts, Eki?
yeah, closing. I am not worried about NXT at all. Worrying in advance isn't going to, make it any better or not. But I'll only start to worry if it's confirmed, oh, Vince McMahon has creative control. Until then, we have nothing to worry about, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with you. What about you, Ryan? Any closing thoughts?
I agree. As long as Vince doesn't get his hands in there,
Then
everything should be fine.
everything should be fine. I agree with that. I hope that, again, to me, more competition will make both brands better.
Yeah.
Oh,
AEW,
absolutely.
WWE, even Impact. And now that they have a really nice deal with a major broadcast, major company, major TV station, they should be able to actually improve their product. So, again,
And
who
who did
gets
they just
benefit
sign?
from all of this? The fans.
Who did Impact just sign?
Uh, who?
Ken Shamrock,
Oh, yeah, Ken
the most
Shamrock.
dangerous man.
The most dangerous man in the world. Yeah. So we will be talking about that in the upcoming weeks. We'll keep having Jean Paul Eki for the Friends as one of our regular shows. So we want to thank all of you guys. We want to thank Brian. We want to thank Jean Paul Eki and for having us in the this conversation. We hope you guys like it. Next time we'll come back with video. We want your thoughts about this. How did you guys like this podcast? Just audio this time. If you want to see our faces back, you got to start requesting it.
Yeah.
So share the video, keep enjoying Road Break, and we'll come back for more.
Bye.
That
Ada!